Let's set up the environment for the Java. And to set up the environment, the first thing is to install JDK. So you can search JDK on Google and you will see JDK downloads from the Oracle. But I would prefer you to download OpenJDK. So that is also most widely used. You can go to this adopt OpenJDK that I am using in my system, and you can download long-term support version JDK 11. You are free to download the latest one as well, and select hotspot here. So the difference between hotspot and OpenJ9 you can see here. Hotspot is provided by the OpenJDK community. So you can download the latest release from here, adopt OpenJDK. Once you will download this, you can download Maven. So you can search Maven on the Google and you will see here, welcome to Apache Maven. You can download Maven from here, this download link, and you will see like how to install Maven, all the information here. So this is very easy steps. You can install the Maven using these steps, and this Java home environment variable is the JDK installation path. So you can check by installing the JDK, it should set up automatically, or you can set up this Java home environment variable in your computer and provide the Java JDK installation path. So once you will install Maven, you can install the IDE. You can choose Eclipse or IntelliJ IDEA, whatever you like. So I would say Eclipse. You can search Eclipse download here, and here you can see this, the latest version of Eclipse IDE. You can download and install, or you can choose IntelliJ IDEA. So IntelliJ IDEA also you can download and install the community version from here, the download link. So ultimate link edition is the paid edition that comes with the trial. So I will use Eclipse throughout the course. So I would suggest you to download Eclipse, and once you will download, then we'll start working on the Java from the next lecture. So thank you. In this lecture, I will create a Spring Boot project in Eclipse and download the Postman. Through Postman, we will test our service. Let's create a Spring Boot project first. I'll open Eclipse. I will create a new workspace, a Spring Boot projects, and launch it. I'll close welcome screen. To set up a Spring, you can go to the Eclipse help and Eclipse Eclipse marketplace and search for a Spring and install it. Other way is to download STS. So you can search for STS IDE, and that is from the Spring tool 4, and you can download this. So this comes with the bundled with the Spring. To create a new project, you can go to the file, new. I'll select others. You can create Maven project and add the Spring Boot dependency like we did earlier, or you can create a Spring Boot project. So you can go to the Spring Boot and starter project. I'll click next. It is asking for type, Maven or Gradle. I will choose Maven project. Java version, I selected 11. I'll name this project Spring Boot Demo, and com.example group, I can say com.abc. Artifact will be a Spring Boot demo. So exactly same as we created Maven project. This is actually Maven project it is creating. Now I can set up the dependency. I can add dependencies from here. I will click next. You can see the same project structure is here. As same we created the Maven project and it created POM file here. So it is actually a Maven project. You can build it through the Maven. Now you can download Postman to test the REST API you will create. I'm using Postman. You can download other tool if you wanted to. To download Postman, you can search Postman download and download it. You can download from here. I have already downloaded it. I can show it to you. So it Postman. Here it is. With this, I am completing this lecture and see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we will work on a Spring Boot starter project we had created. In this project, it generated class a Spring Boot demo application.java having main method, and that is the starting point of application for Java. In pom.xml, this is exactly same as we created earlier in Java project. This dependency got added for the Spring Boot starter. So a Spring Boot starter dependency is the combined dependency, contains all the other dependency required for the Spring Boot project. And a Spring Boot starter test is for test cases. So it automatically added this dependency and added a Spring Boot Maven plugin as well. So this plugin will help us to run the application. Here in main method, you can see a Spring application dot run is called with the Spring Boot demo application class as an argument, and this main method argument as an second argument. So if you go to this run method, it is saying a static helper that can be used to run a Spring application from a specified source using default setting. So this run method runs this Spring application on the Tomcat server, and if you see this dependency Spring Boot starter contains the Tomcat dependency as well. So it runs the application on the Tomcat application server. If you go to the resources folder, src main resources, you can see a property file is added by the Spring Boot starter project, where you can specify properties for this project. Here I have added one property here in the application.properties, that is server.port is equal to 8081. If I'll run this application will run on port 8081. So let's run this Spring Boot starter project. I will use maven install command, same that we had used in the Java project, because this is also a maven project. Build success. Now if I will go to the project and refresh this target folder and see here jar got created, a Spring Boot demo hyphen 0.0.1 slash hyphen snapshot dot jar. So this is the jar created with the name of the application and version of the application. Now let's create an API, get API. I will first create a package named controller, com.example.demo.controller, and I will create a class inside it. So let's do it. I have created this class as test HTTP method under this com.example.demo.controller package, and I wanted to make this class as a REST controller. So I will put REST controller annotation here, and to get the REST controller annotation, I will add one more dependency, that is a Spring Boot starter web. So now I will create a method. So I have created a method that just returns this is my first get. Now I wanted to execute this method from the get URL. And if someone will execute that get URL, call the get URL, he will receive this message. So let's do it. Done. Very simple. I just put annotation @get mapping, provided the path /hello. You can have root path also. And this method will be called whenever someone will execute HTTP get method with the application URL /hello, and he should get this message. So here Tomcat started on port 8081 and started a Spring Boot application in 6.437 seconds. Now let's execute get method. We have done it. So I called get method http://localhost, that is IP of my local system, :8081, the port we have defined, /hello. Hello is the get method path. And when I click on send, execute this get method, I receive this output. So we have successfully created a microservice with a get API that returns a message. This is my first get. So we have done it, and this microservice is running, up and running here. So I'll stop this using Ctrl+C. I'm completing this lecture here. In this lecture, we will advance the same microservice we had created in the last lecture, and we will add more functionality into it. I will change this get mapping hello to the person, and instead of returning, this is my first get, I will return your name is first name and the last name, space last name, and I will receive name from here. So I'll say first name, and I will receive user input, and then last name user input, like that. So let's see how it works. So here I call this same method, get method, http://localhost:8081/person/fn asutosh/fn Shashi, and when I hit send, run this get, execute this get, I'm getting your name is Asutosh Shashi. So here I am taking this value from the path variable, and in path variable annotation I am using the same name that I am using to get this value. So variable name and this path variable name should match, and then I am getting this value here. So let's say I am using this different variable and I wanted to use different variable name here. Instead of first name, I just wanted to use f name. It will not work. So to make it work, I'll say l name. And to make it work, I will use value here with this path variable annotation. So let's see how it works. So here you can see the value is printed when I pass the same path parameter fn for the first name and ln/last name. So let's go to the code, and here I have two path variable. I'm taking value from user in get mapping. Now I wanted to pass some query parameter. So you might have seen this path variable and then question mark and then put some query value like name is equal to some name. So I wanted to take that, and let's see how it works. So that is called request param. So here I have added age is equal to 21. So in URL question mark age is equal to 21. So age is integer here, and if I see in the code, and here I have added request param for the request parameter, and variable name is age. So I'm not doing anything, modifying anything, not modifying anything into the get mapping URL. So I just added one request param and it added request param into it. So what will happen if someone will pass a string value in age, or someone will not pass this request param? So let's say 21A someone passed, and here you see 400 bad request error, and the status is also 400 bad request. If I pass integer, status is 200 okay. So how to handle this? I wanted to return 500 server error if someone pass a string, or I wanted to return some error message saying age cannot be a string, age should be an integer with the response of 400, my own error response, or I wanted to show the server error, this is the server error, something like that. So what I will do, so let's see in the code. I will stop this application and I'll modify the code for that. So when I pass a string value here, it returned age should be numeric. So if I will pass the numeric value now, it is saying age is 0. Oh, something is wrong here. I forgot to assign this age. So now it should be fine. So now what is try and catch? So you can add try catch block in your code wherever you see the possibility of the code break. So if your code can throw runtime exception, you can put inside the try block and catch those exception into the catch block and do the required thing, whatever you wanted to do in case of exception. So do it here in the catch block. We got the exception because we are parsing int value, but age is not int value, so it throws exception here and it came under this exception block and returns age should be numeric. So now what will happen if I will not pass the age? So I will not pass this query parameter, and it again returned bad request. So I wanted to make this age optional, and what should I do for this? It is very simple. Just use optional class here. So I will use optional age, and optional is in Java util package that is used for the null pointer exception handling. So if we are not passing anything, this comes as a null, and whenever you use optional, you can use optional.get to get the value from the optional. And there are methods that is present that says if data is present in the optional or not. So I will use all these to make this workable. Call this get without the query parameter, without the request param. It is still working. So what I did is I am taking this argument as an optional. So if someone will not pass this argument, still this will not fail. Here I am checking if this optional is present, the value is there in this optional. Then check if there is an integer passed in this age, and if it is not integer, then return the message in the exception age should be numeric, or else return name is first name and last name and age is this. If this is not present, then just return name is your name is first name and last name. So now if I will call this method using request param age 21s, that is a string, and here I got the message age should be numeric, but here if you see it is still returning 200. Okay, that is the default if there is no error. So here I am doing error handling, but I wanted to return 500 or 400 bad request or 500 server error in case of someone is passing a string value. So what should I do? So I will use response entity and set the HTTP status code in my response. So let's do it. So now you can see whenever I pass age is equal to 21s, that is a string value, and hit this service, I'm getting age should be numeric and the status is 500, internal server error. Whenever I'll pass numeric, I'm getting your name is Asutosh Sasi and age is 21. I'm passing first name Asutosh and last name Sasi. And whenever I will not pass age, still it will work. It will say your name is Asutosh Sasi. And what I did, I added response entity. So now I'm not returning just a string, I'm returning response entity of type string. So this is generic class. Response entity is generic class. I can have any object here. And if age is present, I am returning age. Your name is name and age is age. And if age is not numeric, I am returning age should be numeric and setting this response entity dot status age internal server error. So HTTP status dot internal server error, and this is enum. HTTP status is enum, and where all the status code is defined. So I am using this enum constant, not using directly passing it to the 500. Here again I am setting a status OK. So HTTP status enum dot OK is for 200 OK for other conditions. So this is how it works. Now let's say instead of returning this string value, I will create a class and then I will return the object of that class. So I will create a person class and return person object. So let's see how it works. So here I am returning person object now. So this is the person object. It starts with curly braces and end with curly braces. Name, if name is equal to Asutosh, L name is Sasi and age is null. If I pass age here, so question mark, age is equal to 35. So here it is Asutosh Sasi and age is equal to 35, that is numeric value. So if you see in the code, I just changed this string to the person in response entity. Response entity is generic class. Now I am passing this person object. And I have created this person class in a separate package called com.example.demo.pojo, and this person class is having first name, last name and age. I have two constructors, overloaded constructor, one with all values, one with just first name and last name. I have generated setters and getters as well. I'm not using setters and getters now. Age is a string. It will show internal server error with null value. Whenever it will have first name, last name and age, I'm creating object with all three value and returning this object with a status OK. And if I have just two value, I'm creating object with these two value and returning a status OK. So here, if I have 35s string value, it is just returning 500 internal server error. Here we are just returning the person object in response entity, and if you see here, it is returning JSON. So it is automatically converting that person object to the person JSON, having all those fields. So you do not have to do anything. It converted into equivalent JSON automatically. So that's it for this lecture.